Once they ruled with violence and vengeance. Pirates in pads, feared from the sunlit coasts to the frozen north. The Raiders weren't just a team. They were a fleet, a silver and black armada that pillaged with purpose and vanished like smoke. Their legacy wasn't built, it was carved in blood, in smoke, in defiance. In the broken bones of quarterbacks who dared to stand tall. But time is a cruel tide. The torches have dimmed, the banners faded, and now greatness echoes through a cold, forgotten corridor, like wind through a tomb. The stadium still stands, but the fire, it flickers. And yet, the sea is not empty. Raider Nation still sails. Weathered and wild, they move through storm and silence. Loyal to no harbor, faithful to only one flag. They are outlaws on the open sea, bound not by winds, but by blood, by memory, by myth. Some say the Raiders are lost, that their glory is buried beneath years of silence. But legends don't vanish. They wait. They endure. For the day the cannons roar once more. For the moment the black sails rise against the sky. The Raiders, they moved from Oakland to Las Vegas. But the point remains the same. They've been bad. They've been unlucky. From the top to the bottom, from ownership to bad draft picks, free agents, coaching, they just haven't hit the mark. For a team that was once a legendary, respectable team, they've just been a shell of their former selves. And in 2023, Josh McDaniels was fired. Antonio Pierce filled in as interim head coach and did pretty well. So they thought, well, he did good for these few games. Let's sign him for longer and see what he can do. The Raiders, after getting rid of Derek Carr, signed Gardner Minshew, who I like his personality, but I don't think he's a franchise quarterback. And Maxx Crosby was still there. But 2024 remained the same bad luck, the same injuries. 8 players finished on injured reserve, including Maxx Crosby. And Antonio Pierce didn't look like he had a clue what he was doing. Autumn came like iron to the desert. The silver ship sailed again, but her sails were tattered, her helm uncertain. The man at the wheel was brave, but bravery is no match for the storm. Her greatest weapon had vanished to foreign waters. Her cannons, once feared, now thundered blanks into the wind. Each Sunday brought not glory, but attrition. One by one the crew fell, captains and lieutenants, warriors and wraiths, until even the fiercest among them was cast below deck. They limped forward, not to win, but to endure. The line gave way, the pocket crumbled, the end zone stayed silent. And yet, the flag did not fall. This was no fairy tale, no legend reborn. It was a campaign written in smoke and lost in the echoes of greatness long since buried beneath the tide. But still, the silver sails drift on. No one expected the offensive firepower of a Piccolo Pete out of the Las Vegas Raiders, but that's exactly what they were. They had 18.2 points per game, which was 29th. Couple that with the worst rushing offense in the league and the worst I've ever seen from a team. 79.8 rush yards per game, 420 yards for Alexander Madison, 132 carries. That's 3.2 yards per carry, and he only had 4 touchdowns. They did not run the ball because they were trying to come back, and even then, they just didn't have a potent run game. They threw the ball 4th in the league, 37.4 times per game, with 223.4 yards per game. Gardner Minshew would play 9 games. He would have 10 interceptions, 9 touchdowns, 2,013 yards before breaking his clavicle. I don't remember which one, in week 12 against the Broncos. The only 2 players I could say who did anything. Oh, and Davante Adams was shipped out to the Jets mid-season. But the only 2 players who did anything was the rookie sensation Brock Bowers, who finished with the league record for rookie tight ends, 112 receptions, 1,194 yards, and 5 touchdowns. And Jacoby Myers, who finished with 87 receptions, 1,027 yards and 4 touchdowns. But they weren't scoring touchdowns because obviously, 18.2 points per game. And that's a recipe for disaster if you're trying to help your defense.
The shield held for as long as it could. They were the last in line, the battered line. And though the walls cracked, they did not yield. Time and again, they stood against the tide, a dwindling force with nothing left to give, yet always giving more. The fiercest among them fell, and still the rest took up arms. They fought in shadow without celebration, holding ground the offense could not claim. But no shield lasts forever. The weight became too great, the wounds too deep. And when the line finally broke, it broke not in surrender, but in silence. This was not failure. This was exhaustion. The toll of too many battles fought alone. Yet even now, beneath the dust and defeat, the fire waits, because a raider never lays down the sword. He simply sharpens it for what comes next.
When you have an offense that can't score, can't move the ball, punts the ball a lot, turns the ball over a lot, it's going to be really bad for your defense. And despite finishing average or better, they allowed 25.5 points per game, which was 25th in the league. Rushing yards per game were a bright spot in a lot of ways. They were 12th in the league, which isn't great, but not bad. 116.9 yards per game. And also opposing pass yards per game, 216.2, 16th in the league. They're about average. Red zone scoring opponents' red zone scoring was 60.34%, which was 22nd. The opponent was always on the short end of the field and scoring a lot of points. The best players on the defense were 3 people. Robert Spillane, who had 158 tackles, Jack Jones, 3 interceptions, and Maxx Crosby, who, despite missing 6 games, finished with 7.5 sacks. But unfortunately, the team would end up losing a lot of games, 13 to be exact.
In the desert night, the silver and black stand weary but unbroken. The echoes of 2024's losses linger on the turf. Ghosts of defeats past that haunt the corridors of Allegiant Stadium. Every victory slipped through their fingers, every misstep etched in the shadows. 2024 was a harsh teacher, reminding these warriors that greatness is never given, only earned. Yet dawn stirs at the horizon. The Raiders return to the field with caution in their hearts and uncertainty in every step. The road ahead is steep and uncharted, a climb beneath a relentless sky. Doubt is a familiar companion, but in its chill, the heart of Raider Nation beats on, quiet and unbowed. For every dusk there comes a dawn. On this rocky path, a new shape begins to stir. A runner untamed and eager. Cutting through the night, he carries no legends on his shoulders, only hope in his stride and the promise of storms to come. So the story turns a new page under the desert stars and neon night. The Raiders march on into the unknown, together and unafraid. The silver and black carry the hopes of many into this unsettled year. The gauntlet is thrown, the challenge great. In the crucible of struggle, a new legend may yet be forged in silver and black.
The Las Vegas Raiders went into 2024 cautiously optimistic, but the holes in the boat were shown really quick and they couldn't bail the water out fast enough. Antonio Pierce, he was thrown overboard by the captain after one season, and Gardner Minshew is now in Kansas City. They signed Raheem Mostert, who's 33. He signed from the Dolphins. Traded for Geno Smith from Seattle, signed Pete Carroll to be their coach, and drafted a very good draft, in my opinion, Ashton Jeanty, the running back out of Boise State, who's going to help hopefully stabilize that run game. And then you got Jack Beck, TCU wide receiver, 6'1", Darian Porter, cornerback, to help that back end because they do need some help back there. Caleb Rogers, guard. We know that offensive line was really bad. Hopefully, he's the answer for them. Charles Grant, tackle, out of William and Mary. So those players, I think, can start in year one, maybe year two. I think they had a very solid draft, and some people are touting Ashton Jeanty as the best player in this draft class.
Now we have the Las Vegas Raiders, and they got my favorite player in the draft, Ashton Jeanty. I think he's going to be the best running back for the next 5 years, behind Saquon Barkley. He's going to be the Rookie of the Year. He's my predicted Rookie of the Year. Even though I'm a Titans fan, I hope Cam Ward's the Rookie of the Year. But Ashton Jeanty's going to hit 1,500 yards this year, and he's going to propel to have the Raiders. They're not going to be in the playoffs, but at least an 8-9 record this year. I really, really liked what the Raiders did. They got 2 blue-chip players so far in their team. They got Brock Bowers, and now they have Ashton Jeanty. That's going to be a playoff team in 3 or 4 years from now. They obviously have Geno Smith, who's a huge upgrade over Gardner Minshew and O'Connell. They got better players like that, but they don't have Davante Adams anymore. They still have a big need at receiver. But I really like what the Raiders did with Ashton Jeanty. He's going to be the Rookie of the Year. But let me know in the comments what you think.
Despite having one of the better drafts and acquiring a coach that has Super Bowl experience and a quarterback who's serviceable, I don't think the Raiders are going to win more than 7, 8, maybe 9 games this season. And then on the low end, it'll be probably like 5 or 6. I think in the 7 or 8 range this year. I don't think they've filled every hole that they have. There are questions to whether Geno Smith is a long-term answer. Probably not. He's in his mid-30s, early 30s. Pete Carroll is 73, and we saw towards the end of the Seattle era, they didn't do really anything to show me that he can keep going. Maybe the league has passed him by. But we'll see what happens. You guys let me know what you think in the comments. Am I wrong? Am I right? Am I just full of crap? I'll see you in the next video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and hit the bell to see more content. And I'll see you in the next video.